there aren't really very many superheroes, especially to start. There are none. They are just like people for vigilante justice. And then one of them calls himself Ozymandias. There's kind of like an ominous aura around Ozymandias from Egyptian mythology, where he's taking the name from. It talks about a great king, but they don't like really have any historical reference to this Ozymandias. And he himself is obsessed with figures like Alexander.
Mm-hmm.
So he's said to be the smartest person in the world, and he builds this entrepreneurial empire. He has like unrealistic reflex and speed from talking to people that are into Alan more than I am. They said it's not really like a superpower. He's just like he's using more of his brain or something. I don't know. So anyway, so there's no real superheroes until a doctor working on something like the Manhattan Project in the comic books timeline gets locked in an experimental chamber. He is vaporized, but slowly over the coming weeks, he learns to manifest a physical body again. And this is like a blue. He's blue. He kind of glows. He can, become giant or become small. He can. He's a superhero, right? He can just pull tanks apart with his mind. So eventually, they ask him to intervene in Vietnam, and they surrender immediately.
Yeah.
And he actually goes over there, and some of them bow down to him as a god. And he has kind of I forget what the word is, soliloquy or something, but that's not the word. But he's talking about his new relationship with humanity, and he says, they are shaping me into something gaudy and lethal. And he's getting caught up in global politics, and it almost seems like he's becoming this egoless kind of being too. He still has some, but he's losing it. He's caring less and less about humanity. And he's obviously like a symbol for man harnessing nuclear power or something along those lines. So anyway, so the vigilante justice people kind of become outlawed, so they either stop or they have to do their stuff under cover of night and everything. And that's because of one of the Watchmen. He's called the Comedian. He very much enjoys his perks of being above the law. He has a very dark, sadistic sense of humor, pretty much believes that humanity's greatest threat is itself. And he even starts working as a CIA asset. And so they start to realize that Ozymandias, once their loyal ally, is up to something here. And they kind of figure out he's working on this false flag event, actually killing thousands of people in New York. The purpose of this is to unite mankind against a perceived common enemy. And so after Dr. Manhattan, he realizes that, like teleportation and these things are real. So he starts experimenting and he figures out teleportation, but it always kills the thing that he teleports. And he also starts doing like genetic projects. He has this, he calls it Bubastis. It's like this giant lynx that is his pet and like his best friend. So he engineers this giant psychic squid. And the false flag event is that he's going to teleport it over New York, and it's going to die, right? Because the teleportation technology doesn't really work, except Dr. Manhattan can do it, but he didn't really figure it out. And that somehow, I think because the squid is psychic, it kills the squid and thousands of people in New York, right? And so the Watchmen figure out that he's trying to do this, and so they go to his super secret tech lab in Antarctica that he built with all his entrepreneurial money. And, they kind of get into a little skirmish, and then it gets to that point where the villain starts explaining his evil plan, right? But with the twist on it, because Alan Moore's actually a good writer, he's like, do you think I'd really be sitting here telling you what my plan was if I didn't already accomplish it? And he's got this wall of TVs behind him, and he turns it on, and you see, the squid exploded. And then Dr. Manhattan shows up, and they start to fight, and there's no way you can win against Dr. Manhattan. But he turns on the TVs, and it shows all the nations of the world uniting and putting down, the arms race and their nuclear weapons and saying, hey, we got to get together for this new perceived threat, essentially an alien space squid, right?
Yeah.
And it works. Dr. Manhattan goes, oh shit, well, it worked. And he says, I like life, but the Earth is a little bit too complicated for me. I'm going to go create some life of my own. He goes off into space. And then, is it a happy ending or is it not? What's this new world going to be like? But it is supposed to be, at least begins on peaceful terms, even if it was a lie.
Yeah.
So that was very interesting to me. In the movie, the false flag event is he detonates a bunch of nuclear weapons, like in New York and Tokyo and stuff, and he makes it look like Dr. Manhattan did it with like the same radiation signature. Well, same idea, but done differently. And no, space squid.
But yeah, again, the squid. By the way, but or like earlier, our internet connection somehow like cut out. I think like vibing too hard or something. But yeah, this cut out. So the stream is like going now for like a part 2. So it didn't. I don't think it got the entire thing from what you said, but probably most of it from what you were talking about.
It got everything up until I started talking about WatchMen, though.
Yeah, that one came out. Good. So yeah,
that's just me. That's just me talking about pop culture. So
yeah, all the other stuff. But yes, we can like keep part 2 like going on for a while if you want.
And the WatchMen thing actually will bleed more into the UFO talk as well. So it's not even a big deal to put up my WatchMen spiel. We can, I can try and distill that and refine it to be something shorter.
Yeah.
Bring it up again in the UFO talk, maybe.
Well, what do you got to say about UFOs, man?
Well, I believe me and Baze are planning a little pod specifically on that. Although I do see them very connected to the Kraken.
Yeah, me too. It's kind of like a continuation, but just I guess like other terms, symbols, and kind of like a continuation on it, kind of. Yeah, but it's like that's kind of that regarding that. But like that's for another pod, really. That one about the aliens and kind of like the symbolism behind that.
Mostly be about UFOs themselves, because you talked about that symbol specifically, but obviously it's gonna have to bleed into entities and aliens a little bit.
Yeah, agreed.
But yeah, the actual mechanical discs in the sky will be the main focus.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true.
Frisbees. Metal frisbees.
Good evening again as well. I just finished with my client.
Great. Nice to hear. Yeah. We've been going for a while. Yeah.
I saw also the podcast went up. I will make sure to listen it later on.
Yeah, we're still like going. The internet connection cut out, so we have a part 1, I guess, and a part 2. But if you have, good. Yeah, it's all good. But if you have more to add, Anastasios, to like the topic, then.
Well, in the sense of explaining the Kraken, is the Kraken the same symbol as Leviathan?
I would say so. I think so. Yeah.
It's very similar. Yeah.
One seems more like a cycle around the globe, like Leviathan, and like a system that controls. Kraken is more like from in to outside, and from outside to in. like a wave motion. Also like the spider web. Like the spider web is mostly in the sense a trap, and it is like a creed, like a kind of prearranged ideas that can also tingle a bit and catch you on, but like they base upon your inability to see it, the web, you're underestimating it, and the technique of the spider, like Arachne, if I remember correctly, was a very capable woman on making wool cloth and such, like making string arts.
Yeah, I think she was like a really good, like, good at weaving. Who was it again? Like, who cursed her again? Who was that? Like to make her a spider? Athena. She likes to curse people, it seems.
all gods curse people.
Yeah.
Yes, like Athena is good and nice till you trigger her plans or you trigger her ego. Like if she comes against someone that says no, I'm not going to yield to gods, and I have abilities of my own and I can stand against gods, then Athena will behave like a small Zeus.
Yeah, but I think in that sense, like, yeah, it's like don't go there. Don't piss off the don't piss them off. It kind of reminds me of like the like in Hindu mythology, like these wrathful like deities like Kali and stuff like that too. It's like you don't want to you really don't want to piss her off, like Kali or like these other figures too. It's like, no, you don't want to go there. They'll fuck you up.
You want to take care of that before you have to answer to Kali.
Yeah. It's interesting too. Like it's machine mythology is also like when I looked into it, is linked to like the cutting off of the head, but the head that she cuts is kind of representing false consciousness. It's like ego. In that sense, thinking it's just that and nothing more, and then she shows up and be like, well, think twice, sunshine, I'm here. And then she puts kind of like ego in the place. It's kind of what you were talking about, Anastasios, too, regarding like the this sense of like that becoming like a small Zeus.
Yeah.
Also, there is a historical person very similar to Kali. It is Tomyris or Tomyris. If you check, like she was the Scythian queen when Achaemenids attacked to conquer Scythia, like the upper part of the Black Sea and such. She defeated the armies together with her husband of the Persians that were invading during the Achaemenid Empire era. And back then, the king of Persians was Cyrus the Great. And Cyrus, like his army, at one point they killed the king of Scythia. And her son, after the banquet of victory, because the Scythians won, that are Iranian people like they are Iranian people like the Persians, but they are more Mithric, like more in old schematics and primordial gods, and so on. And the son of Tomyris, like he attacked Cyrus to take revenge for his father, but Cyrus defeated him in a duel on the banquet, and then Tomyris challenged Cyrus in sequence, and she cut off his head and drank his blood.
Whoa.
That's wow. That's wild.
Yes, and it is Cyrus the Great, like the biggest Persian emperor ever.
I guess in a way you can say don't fuck with, I guess, the angry feminine in that sense, or like an angry mother, I guess you could call her too. So yeah, in that sense, but yeah, but like yeah, regarding like with Kali then too, like there's like this connection to like this symbol of like again with instinct in the body that it's kind of like reminding one of. But yeah.
Yeah, with Kali, it's not necessarily like actual cutting off the head, right?
With her, no, it's symbolic. It's like she's like one of the I think it is within Buddhism, if I'm not mistaken, or it could be Hinduism. I'm not sure, so don't quote me on that. But I just know that she's like one of the deities that is like called upon and for like for basically ego death. Kind of that's kind of what happens. That's what her purpose is. So it's kind of like destruction, but like a one that's kind of needed kind of destruction, because it's like it's become so rigid and so like full of itself, the ego, that it's like so inflated that she's like, well, fuck you, and it's like she's like pricking a balloon kind of thing. So then you're put back in place. So it's like not literal but symbolic, but it still sucks.
I remember one time when I took shrooms, I had like a moment where I felt like, and like as I was thinking, it became image, and I felt like my ego, independent of my choice, was just having bullshit extracted from it, and for a long while I couldn't even talk about the trip because I just wanted to let it be by itself. Also, like, Alan Watts, have you guys ever seen that kind of chill step? His kind of joke, his almost analysis of it. God is Black.
Yeah, I've seen that one regarding that, and also like the it being a woman too. I remember if that's, I think that's correct, if I remember that correctly.
Just wanted to put that out there. I don't know.
Yeah, but yeah, in that sense, I think that's, yeah, what I wanted to also bring up is kind of like just for January, kind of like with, because the weaving of like Arachne made me kind of think about like the material talk that that we're still planning to do, that we're preparing. So about the regarding like the feminine earth talk, but it made me kind of think about that one too. So that one is still like gonna come out at some point, like in January too, for those.
And is that's like a earth goddess type related stuff, right?
Yeah, so that's kind of like going off topic there, but maybe for those listening who hear, maybe you can get hyped for that one in the right way. But yeah, so back to like I guess the Kraken related things. I don't know if there's like something that any of you guys still want to bring up regarding that. Yeah.
I think I got about pretty much all I had to say. Yeah. hopefully with our next talk, I'll have more time to try and really kind of articulate and put some things together. It's just kind of tossing out information for this one, but
I think we've put a lot of stuff together.
Yeah,
we've really put a lot of stuff together. It's kind of.
I think maybe I'm expecting things to fit together more literally than a symbolic language allows.
Yeah.
Right. Another symbol is like those sentinels in the Matrix. It's all over the place, and we know what it is. It's something to test the mettle of man to see what we turn into. Are we going to be crushed under the pressure? Or are we going to rise to the occasion and become something better? Because this stuff is always going to happen. It's always going to knock down civilizations. The cool thing, though, is the civilizations are always different when they come back. So we just keep trying new mixtures of culture and technology. So that's the silver lining out of a lot of this stuff. We fight the monster differently every time.
A final question, and it is a bit fun. I have seen this documentary in old BBC that had also the animal documentaries, and it said about the giant squid fighting the sperm whale. It's 15 minutes. They have a fight in the ocean's bed, and I imagine, are they similar? In a sense, the whale Ketus is a bit different, but also you have the sense of the Kraken or the giant squid, like you see in Julius Verne's story, like Nemo fighting a Kraken.
Yeah, but Cetus, the one of the symbols for that is like the fish and the large whale creature, and it's similar in its it's different symbols, but they relate to like the same thing. They're connected to the same thing. The fish, the snake, in that sense can mean the same. Can mean the same thing. It doesn't have to. It depends on like the story and the myth also, like how it's what is all connected to it. Because the fish can also can also be connected to like a lot of other symbology too. But as connected to Cetus, like yes, in that case, yes, it is the same thing.
And by the way, you brought something very interesting a while back about Hermes and the flying shoes. I don't remember if Raine folks brought it as comparison with the snake end of the human body of these primordial beings, having a primal sense from the waist down. Yes, like in the very original form, the two swans appear in the same way you have the snake queen, like in old Minoan civilization, the woman holding two snakes, and then you have Demeter holding two snakes, and you have also Demeter Artemis, and in Demeter all female figures are mixed. Like I saw once a podcast about the maiden, the wife, and the crone. Like you have the old woman, like caretaker figure, like Estia. You have the maiden, like Athena and Artemis, that they always have this young energy of the female and the daring and exploring the world in a different sense from the male, but again, it has some potential energy. And then you have the wife, like Hera, Demeter herself, and so on. And the two snakes later, they became in some depictions as two swans. And swans are one of the animals that are connected with the divine will. And the very original form of the Hermes shoes is that Hermes is wearing two swans on his legs.
Yeah, from what I know, it's like the symbol of the swans. It's like with the birds and the snakes, and it's with the lower and the upper regions of the well, I guess the brain, but also like I guess in the worlds and in that sense too, the different realms. It's connected to that.
Getting those realms working together in unison.
Yeah.
Yes, causing us a psychological vertigo when we try to experience it in a full sense, like how the down rises up to fly and comes down again to guide us up. Like, it is interesting.
Definitely. Yeah, I think a lot of that stuff, like I'm still articulating with Hermes and the wings and everything, but I think we're gonna try and kind of pick that one apart in the UFO talk too.
Oh yeah, definitely. But yeah, I don't know if any of you guys have anything more to say. Otherwise, I'd round up the stream. It's been like what, a bit over 2 hours.
Yeah, it was a good talk. Yeah.
Yeah,
I got out everything on my end.
Yeah, same here. Yeah, I would say thank you all for being here, for listening, and yeah, until next time. Okay.
Yeah.
You guys.
See you.
Until next.
It was a pleasure.
Likewise.
Yeah, thanks guys.
Yeah, it was awesome.